Wait. Quick test. What day was she born?
Do I look like the one who's been interviewed here? Why are you doing
Asking you.
What's all this? Wait. Akos is like, wait, how did this day look like when you were born?
What?
Welcome to the African Wise Food Podcast. I'm King D.
I'm DT.
And it's your boy DK.
Thank you for joining us on another great episode. Today we got a great somebody on our side, man. And actually, you should introduce her, and you need to introduce her.
Oh.
Yeah.
Next time, let me know ahead of
Listen,
time.
ahead of time.
So today,
Uh-huh.
we have been graced and blessed
With a great
presence.
entrepreneur. Is that a word?
Yeah.
I can never say that word.
With
So I had to just say
a
it
very
fast.
brand new,
Uh-huh.
great
Uh-huh.
entrepreneur,
That's right.
and she is starting something beautiful.
I mean, yeah.
Um,
And she's here to inspire others to do the same.
Exactly, and she has inspired a lot of people. She's an inspiration to us here, and we're here to learn from her, and we're here to see how this whole idea came up and talk more about what is to come.
Yeah. But you don't want to take too much away from her, though.
No.
Yeah, you want her to talk more about it.
Okay, can you let me talk, please?
I don't know.
And so we are blessed with her presence here today.
Yeah.
And so today, when I was texting her, right?
Yeah.
So I was gonna text her good morning.
Yeah.
To invite her.
What do you think?
So then I was trying to be like cute and funny, right?
Yeah.
So I went to find a GIF that said good morning.
Okay.
And so when I saw the GIF, I was in a rush. So I saw the GIF, it said good morning, like a little puppy came and said good morning.
Oh, that's
So
adorable.
then I chose that GIF and I sent it.
Uh-huh.
So after I sent it, after the puppy said good morning, there was another phrase after that.
What was the phrase?
And the phrase said, I love you.
Oh!
I was like, oh, no.
Wait. I mean, there's something wrong with that. You're getting a little I love you in the morning.
No, but...
And then I was just like, is this for me?
Yes.
Is this for me? Okay.
You know, I was like, it was there for you, but I didn't really see the whole thing. You know, I didn't know the I love you part was there.
Plot twist. DJ saw everything.
Yeah, I just thought that was really funny. But I do love her. I told her that I do love her as a sister.
Yeah.
You know, nothing on that level, but I do
Strange
love her.
way to start this podcast.
I just wanted to share that.
Strange.
That's how I started my day, so.
Welcome, Rose, to the African Wise Foods Podcast. How you feeling?
I'm feeling good. Thank you guys so much for inviting me.
Hey, you're welcome. We're trying to get the awkward space out, and this dude just keeps on creating it. Man. That's DK, man.
Sometimes it's good to be uncomfortable.
It's good to be uncomfortable. Why? Why is it good to be uncomfortable?
That's where greatness is made.
Now we have greatness to the next thing. All right, my icebreaker question here. This is a clean one here. It's a clean one. Now that I know. So my icebreaker question is this: would you rather? What's all this? Would you rather fight an orangutan every year, once a year, with a sword, or have to fight a chicken whenever you open your car door?
Whenever I open my car door, I have to
Whenever
fight
you
chicken.
open your car to go to work, there's a chicken that is trying to kill you, and you gotta fight it.
I'm fighting the orangutan.
You find the orangutan?
It's only once a year. It's a sword, you know.
I'm taking the chicken, bro.
That's
Free meal, man.
No.
Yo.
Free meal. What you got, bro? You gotta
There's
pluck
some wild
the
chickens out
feathers.
there.
Huh?
You gotta pluck the feathers. You gotta cut the head off.
Yeah.
Nah, that's too much work.
That's something we
How
used
many
to do
times
back
do
in
you
the
open your
day.
car door in a day?
Huh?
How many times do you open your car door
How
in a
many
day?
times do you go to work, man?
Yeah, but I'm just saying that's the number of times you have to fight a chicken.
Exactly.
Bro, chickens are vicious, low key.
Bro,
They're vicious.
yeah, I'm not fighting a chicken.
Yeah,
bro.
take
You're
the
alone on
orangutan.
that one.
Yeah.
Yo, do you know what orangutans do?
Once a
Man,
year.
orangutans are lazy. You see them, they're like they just.
What if the
sit
one
there.
time catch the one that's hardworking?
Nah, it's not gonna be the hardworking one. I got a sword, bro. He be alright.
I'm throwing the sword.
Yo, you're
no,
not thinking
what
about this clearly. You said chicken too, right? Why chicken?
I feel like it would just be easier for me.
To kill it, right?
Yeah.
Like a little on the
Okay,
neck.
so that means you're gonna fight a chicken 5 times or 6 times
A day.
Probably more a day.
You gonna go to work? Listen, you gonna go to work with your clothes. Your clothes gonna be all like
Oh, what's
scratched
the
up
year
and
for the
bloody.
rank? I don't know.
Yeah.
Once a year for the orangutan.
Orangutan.
Oh.
You get to jump on the orangutan. You can catch him when he's asleep.
Yo, no. See. Now the orangutan didn't say he was coming alone though. You could get jumped.
What? No,
No,
that's
no,
a big.
no. Now you're adding.
Yeah, it's like is it a posse of orangutans?
No, listen, you never know
I
what
can also
orangutan.
say the chicken is not just one chicken.
That's true.
Is it a rooster?
Yeah,
Like what is I don't know. Roosters are crazy.
More meat for your family, man.
Nah, bro.
Yeah, really?
That's a lot of
If
work.
you kill one orangutan, you can eat it for the rest of the year.
That's how we got here. COVID, bro. Apparently, man. Someone ate some bad meat. All right, so let me get into the questions here, and let me see if I can open this thing. I can't open it. There we go. Sorry, iPhones, whack phones. I'm gonna get a lot of hate on this one, aren't I? Yeah, I said it. They're scamming y'all keep on buying it.
There go half the listeners.
They're gonna
Dang.
have to-
Half the listeners gone now because you said that.
Rose,
Yes.
you started this business.
Yes.
When did you start it?
It's been a year. I started around, I think, July of last year. But like I got my name and everything in August.
July of last year. What
Like
led up to it?
the idea of like everything. So I just woke. Well, let me go back a little bit. I had a dream, and then like I woke up and I was like, oh, I had a dream that I had a business, and I woke up and I was just like, this has to be from God, and I'm just gonna activate my faith and just go right into it. So like that day, like I didn't wait like a month or a week. I got to work
Immediately.
Yeah, immediately. Like
Wow.
I got to work and I was like, this has to be from God. So I prayed. I was like, God, if this is your will, let it be. Like let it happen.
Yeah.
And then from then, like the plan has been going smoothly.
My goodness.
So like that's how.
Do you ever have any like doubts in the beginning when you were starting?
No.
Like, yo,
Were you like praying to God for something?
I was like, there was a season in my life I'm just like, I don't know what is for me. Like, what am I doing? I saw everybody going to school. I dropped out. I saw everybody going to school. I did some IT courses, and I work at the place that I did the IT courses, and I was just sitting there in the office. And I was like, do I really want to do this? And I think God like just revealed to me like, hey, just go here. And then like yeah.
that's a very bold move though. Like, was there? And you say you had no doubts in you, and you're like,
So you knew, like, if someone just told you in your
Yeah, I
spirit,
was just like, there was no doubt. I was like, this has to be God. And in the dream, I'll share a little bit more in depth.
yeah,
It wasn't just one business; it was two.
2 businesses.
So I was just like,
You're rich. You sharing,
I
right?
was just like,
This is just the beginning.
yeah, I was just like, I was just gonna go for it. So I just, yeah. I
Well,
just-
I've heard of some people when they say that they're trying to start something new, especially like there's always this weird doubt that they have, and then the especially it's not coming from inside, it's the outside people. Do you have like support, or was people like, nah, man, you want to just stop and then focus on other things?
I didn't really like discuss it with any
I like
friend or
that.
nothing. Like it was just me and God.
Interesting.
So like yeah.
It's funny you say that because like when we were beginning the podcast, I don't think we ever like even shared it with anybody else outside of our circle. Even though also actually the reason why we're trying to do anonymous and stuff.
Yeah, we didn't talk about it.
Nah,
Because we just like, we were studying, we were just like, we should do a podcast. Let's try it out.
Let's try it out.
So then we actually used like the iPhone, like the app on the iPhone to record it.
Yeah.
Like the recording app, and then we just recorded it. I
Yeah.
don't know what we made up a topic.
You
we
made
just
up a
talked about.
topic.
I don't remember what we talked about. But
When
then,
we introduced ourselves,
yeah.
it was a prototype. And we did, and then I remember in the last session of it, you can hear the Liberian woman saying, "Hey, it's time to go home."
Yeah, to kick us out of the library.
Yeah. Then like you'll feel like if you had, do you feel like if you are like this all of you, if you had like communicated that idea to somebody, they would have talked you out of it, or like sort of like thing like that? You feel that way?
yeah, I think there's always people. I realize people in the world, they're gonna tell you most people aren't necessarily going to tell you what's best for you. They're going to tell you what's best for them, like in their world, based on like what's their story led up to. So, I had a lot of people that were telling me like, you should do this. Like my mom was telling me to do one thing, my dad was telling me to do something else. Like, oh, you should go to school for this, or like you should drop out, you should start this, you should do this or do that. But it's like, what you're trying to do or what God has put on your heart could be different from what, he told somebody else. So, everybody's got a different path. So, I think having like that, like you said, like you knew in your heart, like that's when that like that it's meant to be done. And, and even if it doesn't, I don't wish this on anybody, but I think even if it doesn't go exactly the way you want it to go, it'll lead you towards something that's further down the road. That's a lot of times could be better than what you originally thought, what you could have never imagined. So
I also wanted to add that like that's a huge leap of faith, especially for someone who like you have no background in like the business that you're starting, and then you're like, all right, like I'm just gonna start this business in this field that I've never been in. It's not like you were working with someone before and you've learned something from that person. You're just like, okay, this is a dream I had. This is something God has put on my heart. I'm just gonna get into it and do it.
Right.
Why are you smiling?
Now I'm listening, man. I can't smile. Oh snap! But no, it's true because when you the reason I smile is because like, wait, what were you saying?
Just went out the window.
No, I was about to say something else, but then it conflicted with what I was thinking, and then I had another question. That's why I don't ask the questions, bro. Who really asks us the questions?
You.
All right. What is the story behind your brand?
All right, so
How did Akos? Is that your?
yeah, it's called Akos.Place.
Yeah.
So
That's your GH name? Ghana.
Yes. Oh.
You didn't know what GH? Akos.
No, I was just thinking of something else. Like,
Yeah, go ahead.
something else.
Yeah.
Yes, my Ghanaian name is Akos.
Oh, okay.
So.
Wait. Quick test. What day was she born?
Do I look like the one who's been interviewed here? Why are you asking you? What's all this? Wait. Akos is like. Wait, how did this day look like when you were born?
what?
Akos. Oh, that's a Sunday. Come me, yo, get me, man.
Proud of you.
Exactly. You should be proud of yourself too, man. Go ahead, Akosia, on a Sunday.
So what's the question again?
Aha, you see? What was the meaning? How did you come up with the name like Akosia? Like, is there a story behind it?
There's not really a story behind it. It was just my name, so I'm just like something simple.
Yeah.
Like it's my business, I'm gonna put my name on it.
Yeah.
True.
Straight to
Why?
the
Someone will ask, why didn't you put Rose? Why didn't you Rose.Place? And you said you chose
tired
Ghana.
of hearing Rose.
Tired of it being Rose. Wait, you being Rose?
No, I'm just tired of hearing Rose. It's like Rose.
And she rose from.
My-
You don't want to
my-
hear Rose?
My real name is actually
sounds
Rosalie.
What is it?
My real name is actually Rosalie, but everybody calls
Rosalie.
me Rose.
Oh.
But I'm just tired of hearing Rose.
Wait, like Rosalie?
Yeah, and Rose is very common.
Because of the Titanic.
Yeah. Well,
Right? No? Isn't that why a lot of mothers started naming their kids Rose? No? I'm wrong? Okay, we'll move on to the next one. It's true, but like, have you watched the Titanic though?
yeah.
Did you?
Yes.
You did. You all saw that like
Very
Rose had a lot of
emotional person.
space for Jack though, right?
Oh my god.
No, we did. We did not see that.
I mean, she definitely did in the movie.
That's what she did. But later, I'm not you Rose, but like the real Rose, not the real, but like the other lady Rose was saying that like there was a lot of space for Jack to be on it.
That's what she said?
Yeah. You know when I watched the Titanic.
So why didn't she let him?
It's a very good question. Why Rose?
Was there a lot of space? I don't think there was a lot of space. Was there?
It wasn't a lot, but
It was like-
she could have.
She could have shimmied a little bit.
Yeah.
They would have sunk. I don't know.
No, but when people watch that movie Titanic, they say it's a romantic movie. That's a horror movie for men.
Oh.
No, it's true. Think about when they said, they were trying to save the people, they said women and children. What about me? What about Konimo?
It's always women and children first.
Always women and children first.
Why?
Because women
It's
and
a
children
official
can
language.
rebuild the nation.
Hey, I tell you equality, man. Aren't you
Because if you die, women can still.
Yeah, that's why. That's actually why it happens.
we'll put a pin in that topic. We'll come back to it on our next episode. Why they made all the men die. Starring Rose and his sister. Her sister. Hey, Radi Akopolo, forgive me. I keep on messing up my pronouns and stuff. So the very next question. What struggles and uncertainties were you facing when you started this business?
So my brand is a modest brand. And one thing that I'm facing in our generation nowadays, like the clothing that we wear is a lot revealing, right? So like
What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you?
When I was like
Go ahead.
choosing,
Can you
like
repeat that part?
No, you don't have to repeat that part. Wait, question. Okay, so you said it's revealing, like.
Yeah. So like one time, like I recently actually just went to like, I don't really do like on-site shopping. I usually do all my shopping online. So I decided to go to the mall to find something for like upcoming wedding. And all of these dresses were so short, and I'm just like, I'm a tall person. Like all these dresses are short.
True.
Like they don't even touch your knees. Like it was just like, I couldn't find anything.
True.
So I was like, in my mind, I was like,
What are you pointing at me?
This guy. But wait, so short clothes and other things, are that what you are trying to go after with your brand? You're trying to explore the other ways to dress.
So it's like a modest, like there's still I feel like you can still look good and be modest. Like just cover up. Not like cover up completely, but just look like elegant, classy.
Why is he laughing?
Yeah.
You hear him laughing though.
Why?
Right?
Yeah, why?
Yeah, why are you laughing?
I want to know your thoughts.
Exactly, me too, man. Let's all know your thoughts about
She
this.
said don't come out completely.
Okay, so like I'm kind of contradicting myself.
So I'm just
Not
wondering, like, what is allowed to be covered and what is not allowed to be covered.
Elaborate.
That's a good question. I just feel as like, so for example, I don't want to put any stores out there.
Fine, go ahead.
Like some stores, like you literally have your side. Why is your like half side like cut? Like I just feel
Like isn't that okay? Forgive me if I'm wrong with that. That's the crop top kind of thing, right?
not necessarily.
It's just like an opening.
It's like a it's
on
like
the
an
side.
opening. Like
Wait,
why?
that's the thing that kids are doing now.
Yeah,
Exactly.
it's a style now. Yeah, it's like to show your hips. That's why, or the curves.
Oh wait, and that part.
Yeah, or there's like too many cuts and.
Is this guy? No, listen, bro. I need not to be sitting across from this guy. This was a bad seating.
Why?
Why are you laughing? Why are you
I'm
laughing?
not laughing, I'm just like
I'm on the hip part. No, when you said when you showed where it was cut, he started not. Elaborate, bro.
I'm not elaborating.
Yo, we're gonna roll back this camera, and we're gonna see you nodding and laughing to that part, man.
But what I'm saying is, we can't let Rose talk about the whole like modest part herself.
Yeah.
Like, we can we are all seeing it around us.
Yeah, that's
like
what
what is your take on it? Like
No,
what's your take on
I mean, I personally
like,
don't really like.
people
I've
dressing
honestly not
modestly?
been looking at the fashion things. I'm like, as you can see, a plain guy, and I'm very simple. I don't really into fashion kind of thing, and so I mean, I don't really. I'm also know like I've already been like I don't want to use the word like tied down, but I am, so I can't really be looking at stuff. So that's me. So what's your take, brother?
You did a very good job trying to avoid the question.
So I don't want to cut anybody off, but something just dropped into my mind that I just want to mention is also like I was having a conflict with my modesty and how I was dressing, and like it was the reason why I was starting to have that conflict was I was growing my faith in God. So I was like, how do I represent Christ in the right
As a
way?
Christian woman.
As a Christian woman.
Yeah. Yeah, that's actually a very good thing to like. What exactly constitutes like how should Christian women be dressing like bland or like or you believe they should be dressing bland?
I don't believe they should.
You don't believe so?
I don't
How
believe that at all.
exactly? If try and paint a picture for us in exactly how a Christian woman will be able to dress fashionable in today's time?
So the words that I use on my Instagram to explain what my brand is, I use elegant, classy, and fly.
Okay.
So I feel like that's what modesty or modest fashion should be.
True.
Right?
Elegant, classy, and fly. And such a clothing would have what I'm guessing not the
not the so back to the question that you asked me before. I was having trouble picking the right things to fit in the thing. I don't want to spoil like what I have in my store, but I would just say that my brand is more so somebody who's trying to transition from the world to a Christian
kind of.
life.
Oh, okay.
So that's what
that is very nice, because I do notice that now I had conversation with certain Christian girls who find it difficult to be able to choose clothing that actually make them. So they either always decide they have to choose something bland to go to certain events because they don't have the clothes that look fashionable.
Exactly.
And it kind of makes them not want to. And so then most of the time they end up going back into how they used to dress before, and it always creates conflict with their inner self. That's very interesting.
What's up, everybody? This is Kindi. Let me just interrupt you for just a good 20 seconds to remind you all to remember to like, subscribe, share, or comment if you have any comments at all. Please remember to share with your loved ones so we can help make this movement become bigger. And if you feel like we've either been able to entertain or educate you in this program, please remember to share, because that's been the whole purpose of the show, to either educate you or entertain you. If you feel we're able to do either one of those, remember to share with your loved ones as well so you can spread the joy. Thank you so much for your continued support. We really appreciate everything you've done for us. And I will stop talking now so you can get back to the show.
I feel like it's very, very important that especially as Christians and as believers, we step into like the fashion world, and we're able to create things for us ourselves, create things for other people, or things that people even in the world can be attracted to, right? And not just keep things like bland, and because you can be fashionable and be modest. Like you can look.
You can't be fashionable.
You can be fashionable and modest, and I believe that's the message Rose is trying to put across with her brand, to give everybody, especially believers, the chance to be able to be fashionable, to be able to look good in what they're wearing, and also be modest while they're doing it.
It reminds me of that one. Sorry, you were saying something?
No. I was just agreeing with
It reminds me of this one video that he sent to me. I remember the one where the two ladies were talking about how you have to always be sort of like in competition, so that you have to make sure that you keep your guy. I don't want this conversation to go into relationship and stuff, but like it reminds you're talking about how you have to dress modestly and stuff, and as Christian women, they kind of find out how they dress in such way, and so when they marry, sometimes because of the clothing choices, they kind of sort of have to dress sort of like bland, if you understand. And then you have the guy who sees.
I would not be doing that.
Yeah. But
you will not be doing what?
I would not be dressing bland because he doesn't feel okay with that.
Yeah.
If you're a man and you're watching, Rose is not gonna be bland.
How do you feel about that, man?
I mean, I was gonna say I think, as a believer, if you're trying to like walk out that life specifically, you don't want to cause people around you to stumble. Like there is a verse in the Bible, I forget where, but it says like, I think Paul was talking about like if me eating meat causes my brother to stumble, then I'm not gonna eat meat. Even though for me it's not. Even though for me I might like meat, I'm not gonna do it around my brother. So I think it's the same concept. It's the same premise. So, and there definitely are fashion brands out there, or women that are very attractive that, and they even have like the figure, the curves and everything, but they dress it's like a dress, a nice little dress. They have like, like maybe it's a dress that comes down to here, but they still look good.
Yeah.
They still look really good, I think the one woman I think off the top of my head is Megan Good. She's not married anymore, but she was married to her husband. Megan Good? You know who Megan Good is?
Who's that?
Oh, you're crazy. That's insane. Rest in peace.
Look it up.
Rest in peace.
Do you know?
Yeah.
If you look it up, you will.
Wait, pause. Do you know who she is?
Yes, I know who she is.
Yeah.
Black or white?
She's black.
Yeah, of course she's black.
She's
Like,
Listen,
she's more on the lighter side.
Yeah, he knows. He definitely knows who
Wait,
she is.
if he knows and I don't know, then that's a problem.
That is a problem.
I
did
actually
not know
just-
she
I
was
actually-
serious,
I
bro.
She just recently got divorced.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
actually do know that.
Yeah.
He got divorced by his wasn't her
Devon
husband.
Franklin.
Her husband
Yeah.
a pastor.
Yeah.
He used to pray a lot.
He's a pastor.
Yeah,
He's
I know
still-
the guy. I was pretending not to know.
Yeah, okay, I was about to say you're insane. You ain't good at that's crazy. But anyways, you know, like
wait, are you saying she dresses?
no, I'm saying like when she was, I mean, she's not married to him anymore, but when she was married to him, because she was trying to respect that boundary for him as his wife, she dressed, you know, modestly. But she's still making good. She still looks, and the stuff she was wearing, it was like nice clothes. It looked legitimately
I see.
good.
I get
You
what
know what
you
I'm
mean.
saying?
Yeah,
So you know, you don't have to always.
So she dressed
show-
fashionable, basically like her message.
Exactly, and
Yeah.
that's what I'm thinking. Like,
Yeah.
like you know, like with her brand, I think that's a good idea because I do think sometimes you know, like you go to H&M,
Yeah.
Forever 21,
Yeah.
you be looking through the clothing, and it's like, I mean, this stuff is cool, but I might just want something basic. You know,
Yeah.
not really basic. Not even that's the wrong word. Like something that's less like
Out there. Too.
out. Yeah,
I get what you
exactly.
mean.
But it still
So-
looks good.
Exactly, it's still fashionable, it still looks good. And so, I mean, she was just one example, but there's plenty of other examples of people that dress, you know, fashionably but modestly, you know.
I
And-
got
Like how DT has all the examples.
Is it?
That was a good example.
I know, right? See, I don't want to say that to them. They'll be like, "Oh, I'm always, why you? You know, it's okay, man." Actually, DT dresses sharp, as you can see. You know, you see his clothes. Look at his face. So, what would you say to someone who's also starting out like that? Like, I want to start. Like, what was the first?
Wait, because I want to ask a quick question.
Oh, yeah,
So
go on.
why should someone say, okay, I want to dress modestly?
True. I mean, sorry.
I feel like if you're falling in love with God,
Mhm.
you would want to do anything to, you know, represent Him the right way or walk in the right way for Him. And I think that that's what's going to lead you to want to dress modest.
It's very true.
Clothing makes a person kind of thing. Is that it?
Clothing, I wouldn't say that necessarily.
Well, I mean, like, so if clothing doesn't make the person, then why should I
It's-
care about dressing modestly?
Well, I think even outside of God, oh, I'm sorry.
No,
You
go
got something?
ahead, go ahead.
I was gonna say even outside of God, because like let's just assume we're talking to people that are not Christians, right? Even outside of that, like, do you always want to wear something that's super revealing? Like, no. Like sometimes you just want, like, you don't want people to look at you
True.
that way. Like, you know, I don't want to always go outside with a wife beater and like a chain. You know what I mean?
Yo, how did that clothes get that name, though?
No.
No, go ahead, finish your
But anyways, like it's, you know, like that. If you're always wearing that, what
Yeah.
does that say? That doesn't necessarily define you, does it? But it does. Like how people see you does affect a lot of things in the world. And so whether we want to admit it or not, we can say like we're individuals. Oh, you can't judge me by how I look. But that's not how like people are designed. You know, we're
That's
designed to judge. We are literally designed to judge things by how they look. And
That's
unfortunately,
true.
that's
Yeah, no matter
that's
how you
just-
look at it, that is
that's
true.
how our brains
You're
are
absolutely
wired.
right.
In a perfect world, it shouldn't be. but
Yeah.
that's how it is.
Yeah.
So, I think you should just dress. I mean, I think outside of even that, you know, or spiritual, religious lens, like, do you always want to dress? You know, like revealing? No, and I think for most people, the answer is no. I think for most people, no.
True.
Like,
Because in
yeah.
some workplaces, they'll tell you not to.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a dress code for a reason.
They will, because it is. You
And
know,
their reason is not like biblically related. Like,
Yeah.
they're just telling you that.
Modest kind of
Exactly.
thing. Yo, so then
Yeah,
how
that's true.
did that? How did we get the name wife beater for that shirt?
I don't know.
You don't know the history for that one?
I don't. There's got to be some
Were there
history,
like men
but-
being arrested wearing that
There
shirt?
probably was. That's honestly probably exactly what it was from. Like, I
Goodness
don't know.
gracious.
I don't know. I just heard someone call it wife beater. I was like, oh, it's a wife beater.
Because I used to like
It's
wearing
tank
it until
tops.
I came here and then I heard the name and I was like, oh no.
Yeah.
And I started moving, I said, no. I don't got associated with this group.
But see, even that example, like,
Yeah.
it's called a wife beater. You know?
Right, you're
Do you
exactly-
want to wear that all the time? Like,
Right.
you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know
So,
what you mean. So it's,
yes.
yeah. So I mean, I hear what you're both saying, but like the points that you both, I mean, all three of you made kind of went back to like clothing kind of makes the person, because you was talking about how people unfortunately still judge you based on how you look. So it means that how you dress. And I have a good example for it. I remember there was this sharply dressed individual, and I thought that this dude had sense until he started talking. And I was like, oh, okay.
Then that means the clothing doesn't make the person.
No, but they looked as if they were sharp. You know what I'm saying?
So then you have to dress sharp to look the part.
And then, so I'm saying, that's what I'm saying. So like, you know, the clothing kind of gives you this, like, kind of makes you in a way, like, you know, like kind of creates this image about you that you may not even be.
I remember when I was in college, anytime I had an exam, I made sure I dressed up really good to go to school.
Why?
Because feel good. When I dress good, I feel good. The exam is gonna be good. I mean, like that was my mentality. So like, I'm just saying that to say that like the way you dress, it kind of, it's your perspective of yourself, right? The perspective that you have of yourself is what
that hurts a little bit. Because in the goose don't you try, man. They see me, I put on whatever, but I'll move. I mean, I'm all for comfortability.
Yeah, so like, if somebody wants to feel comfortable,
you're just comfortable.
Yeah, because I've been seeing some dudes like.
But you cannot be dressing comfortable and not just like you don't dress like looking rough, right? You just dress comfortable. I see you. You just dress comfortable. You don't dress looking.
It's not
rough.
like terror.
Like,
you're not like homeless. Like
exactly.
it's still good. Like you know, it's just comfortable.
still
good.
put together.
Yeah,
thank you.
Yeah,
you're not gonna go get like the most expensive stuff.
Nah, come on, man.
You get the most comfortable stuff.
I get the most comfortable stuff.
Exactly.
I go for most comfortable. I mean, I always do choose comfortability over fashion, and I've been seeing a lot of people in during the cold seasons be wearing some fashionable clothes, and then they just be shaking and shaking like that, man. And I was always wondering, like, dang, like, is it really worth it? How do you feel about comfortability over fashion? How do you feel about it?
I actually love being comfortable
Over fashion?
but then I love fashion at the same time.
So then what do you do?
So what I do is when I'm going to events, I make sure I look good.
Good.
But then when I'm at home chilling, just doing whatever.
So in a way, so basically you choose fashion over comfortability, because when you go outside, you choose. So fashion over comfortability for you.
Yeah, I'm gonna say like most ladies
You
actually
too?
choose. No, I said most ladies actually choose fashion over comfortability.
Yeah.
I agree with that, and I think most guys choose comfortability over fashion.
Yeah.
Like, but there is a way to.
That's how you
blend
end up
both.
giving them your jacket all the time.
Yeah, and there's a way to blend both, though. You know, like you could.
Yo, that is so true.
Exactly, right?
I did not think of that. I did not put it to. I'm
They
so
always
sorry, I
wanna
cut
look
you
good.
off, brother. Finish your statement.
I don't remember what statement is.
My bad. I'm so sorry. I
don't remember. I honestly don't remember.
Revelation. Because do you know how many times I've done that?
Did you get your jacket back? Did you get your jacket back?
Oh, did I get my jacket back? I always make sure I get my jacket back. That one I finished.
A couple jackets I have not gotten back.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, I remember I gave one jacket to her and then it came back broken. You know how pissed
At least
off
it
I
came
was?
back. At least it came
Yeah, at
back.
least it came back.
That was my favorite
You
jacket.
should be glad it came back, bro.
Golly.
It's okay. Look at that.
Whispering.
Damn. What, you two are fashion about comfortability?
There's a way to blend both, though,
How do
bro.
you do that?
Bro, look, I mean, like, there's a way to, like...
Right now, you're
could-
comfortable.
I feel like
There's
I'm
a way to
comfortable.
blend, bro. I agree. You go ahead. I'll
Yeah, especially for men, I feel like you can dress fashionable and comfortable. I mean, women can too, obviously. But like for instance, like we were just talking about like the dress thing, right? Like a woman could wear like a nice dress, maybe her shoulders are out or whatever. She could have a little purse to go with the outfit, and then some heels. Well, maybe not heels. Heels aren't really comfortable, but like some nice shoes or whatever, and some lipstick. That's you know, it's somewhat comfortable.
How you know heels are not comfortable? Have you tried them?
I have 3 sisters. That's how I know.
Oh, okay.
Why you gotta take it there?
Nah, but I took you.
This man always trying to come. He always trying to come somebody.
I can't ask a question.
Why are you always doing that? Why are you always doing that, Derek?
That reveals more about you than me, sir. Because my mind didn't even go there. That's crazy. That's crazy.
Sorry,
Nobody
Rosie, you look like you're about to
I was
say
just
something.
like the outfit that he just described. I actually wore something like that to a wedding. Like I just wore like a nice dress with some nice luxury sandals, no heels. I'll just
See? Yeah, you could do both. Or like, let's say you're like you were just saying earlier, like when it's cold, you could wear something that's maybe like a hoodie on it. Like I do this sometimes. Like I'll have like a casual hoodie, like something like this, and then like maybe you could even have like tennis shoes or dress shoes, whatever. But then you can have a jean jacket on top, you know, to kind of like make it look more, you know, with the collar to make it look more like fashionable.
Right.
I don't
But you
want
could take all that off and then
Yeah.
just look comfortable, you know.
True. I feel we went a little sidetrack away from Rose. I'm sorry. I was very stuck on the fact that my jackets. I didn't think that this was like. I thought it was just a meat thing. I'm glad I have a brother. All right. So Rose, what can people expect from you and your brand going forward?
I feel like Akos.Place is gonna be a brand that exudes confidence, boldness, strength, and just being able to still have your faith and feeling comfortable in what you're wearing.
I didn't get to get an answer, a clear answer. If you did, forgive me on this. But like, how did you actually start on it? So you said you had a dream and you just got to work. But like, what exactly did you like?
What were the steps
What are
that
the
you
steps
took?
that you took? Unless you don't want to reveal it, then it's
No,
okay.
that's fine. I did research, a lot of research on like clothing brands. Actually, before I even decided that I was gonna do the clothing brand, the dream was actually I had, women selling wigs and stuff like that, but I didn't really want to do that. So I was just like, I want to do something that.
That's a good market too, though.
That is a good market.
Yeah.
That's a very good market.
Yeah. What made you not want to go into that area when you stuck with this?
It was just not. I don't think it was like me.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, and I
understood.
I wanted to do something focused on God, centered around God.
Right.
So is it really church clothes?
No,
Wait.
you can
what?
wear it anywhere.
True.
It's not just church clothes.
And is it gender specific?
No.
Why are you asking that
He's
question?
trying
Just make sure
It's not
if I can go shop there too.
Yes.
That was actually like some question I wanted to ask you too, though, because like I remember I went to Target once, and then like when you go there, like the men's section is so terrible.
terrible.
Yes, it is. We have video evidence.
What Target you be going to?
The broke kind. But
Going to the
no, but I'm saying that like normally when you go to like shops like Ross, they have a lot of stores for
compared
women
to those.
than
Yeah,
men. So I was like, like I also like to one day dress sharp so that I have some girls cats call me and I go, no, I have a girlfriend.
I was like, whoa. Tread like
Relax.
less.
So but but I think once again stop sidetracking me from what she's saying.
Bro,
But
you be sidetracking yourself. Like real talk.
I want you to actually help explain to a young entrepreneur who's also coming up, like the steps that you're supposed to be making and stuff to be able to make good choices that can land you where you're supposed to be.
Definitely, I would say start with prayer. Definitely start with that first, and then after that, just do research. A lot of research before you go in.
Yeah.
Don't just like start it, then start rushing through it, because then you're definitely gonna make your mistakes. But do your research, pray.
Yeah.
Also make sure you have the passion for what you're doing. Because then if you don't have to, there's gonna come moments where you're gonna be burned out.
Did you hit some walls?
Yes, I did. So if you don't have the passion, then you need something that's gonna push you,
Can I ask you about one of the walls that you hit, unless you don't want to talk about it?
No, I'm fine. I'm open to doing that. One of the walls I hit, I feel like was people might judge me, or people might think what I'm doing is not going according to the word of God.
Right.
So I'm still dealing with that now because it's about to come out. So I'm like, I don't know what people are gonna think.
Why would that be against? Because it's not. It's like a medium between.
Because so let's say whatever that's what I was saying before. Whatever I'm putting in my store, I don't know if it's gonna be going according. So what if they see it, whatever I put in,
and they're like, oh, this is not God related kind of thing. Is that it?
Yeah. They judge it or something. But
I mean, no, she's not wrong. But I remember, I think I was not even born then. But 10, 15 years ago in Ghana, 10, 15 years ago, they allowed women to be wearing jeans in the church, and that was something that was not accepted in the Church of Pentecost. I'm not trying to put that, but this is something that it's this is not even just church Pentecost. These were other churches that was also doing the same thing too. Certain style of dressing was seen as if hey, that's not godly. And so especially with today's science and things changing and stuff, I do understand where you're coming from.
I've gotten to the point where it's no, no, if God is doing this, I shouldn't worry about it. So that's what.
No matter what the other people say.
Did you ever feel like giving up? Was there a point where you'd be like, yeah, maybe this is not for me, like I need to stop and find something else?
No.
Hey Charlie, if God give you that dream, man, no matter what, you can't give up, no?
Like, I'm loving the fight. Like, it's growth.
Yeah.
So I love it. So I'm okay.
Yeah, I'm trying to take that same confidence, because sometimes when we do this thing and then it's like, yo, I'll be driving to work, I'm like, ah!
I have a quick question. How are jeans not godly? This is blowing my mind.
Oh, I mean,
maybe because I'm like,
go ahead.
Maybe because like I grew up in like
You
the
are
churches
American.
the churches I go to, like, and maybe this is why I feel like low key, like growing up around seeing people, whether it's women or men, wear jeans in church. I never thought to sexualize it or thought to trivialize it.
Yeah.
So I think maybe for an older generation, you know what I mean, if they might sexualize it, but when you come up into a different generation, you might not. Just like how in some countries, as weird as it sounds, some people sexualize shoulders.
Absolutely.
Which is like, to me, I'm like, it's a shoulder, bro. How is a shoulder sexy?
What are you thinking of?
Yeah, like what are you gonna do with the shoulder?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you know, but because it's always covered up, you know what I mean? But that's my point. Like, I don't know. That's why I'm like, how is that like?
I feel like it's all culture based. Like,
It's all culture based.
I think it's
I agree.
culture.
I agree.
Huh. That's
100%.
very interesting.
No,
Yeah.
you want to expand on it or?
I just feel like really like a lot of stuff that like Ghanaians are having trouble with or whatever. I just feel like it's just the culture that has been there.
Absolutely.
So
I agree.
that's why they're like, oh, jeans are not okay.
Absolutely, I agree. And then the same thing even goes.
What's up, everybody? Kindi here. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever been looking for a place that represents these three words: classy, elegant, and fly? Well, look no further. Our guest for this episode presents a great place for you to find modest and fashionable clothes. You can find their Instagram on Akos.Place, where you can find great fashionable clothes for your modest self. She's launching her site on October 15, 2022. Trust us on this, people. You do not want to miss out on this great opportunity to find clothes that are classy, elegant, and fly. Trust us. This lady's idea is going to soar throughout the skies, people. You don't want to miss this one. Thank you all so much for supporting it, and please support her page on Akos.Place on Instagram, Akos.Place. Akos.Place. Now let's get back to the show.
I wouldn't say it was like jeans necessarily. It was pants. Like women weren't allowed to wear pants
in church.
In church, like whether it was jeans or whether it was cloth. Like they just weren't allowed to wear pants.
Oh, so you know about that situation?
Yeah, I know about it.
Sure.
Yeah,
And was it that church that I mentioned? Because I plan on blurring it out. I don't want to, you know.
Yeah. I mean, they changed it. Obviously, I guess they've come to the knowledge that, like, you know, you cannot be really controlling what people are wearing like that. So for us, they're not coming out there half naked. You know,
That's a very interesting thing to me, because like when you read. So like in the Bible, right, you read certain things. There's certain things in the Bible that like people will say that are like, they say like it has to be done this way, but you can tell it's cultural. Like Paul, he goes like, for the sake of the angels, women should cover their heads in like congregation. But no woman covers their heads today, as far as I know. At least in the churches I've been to, I have not seen a single woman, unless you're like Eastern Orthodox or maybe certain Catholic traditions or masses or whatever. Where they cover their heads. But like, you know, we go to church today, we see a woman with her hair out and we don't think anything of it. So I just think it's strange to me that I feel like this conversation, not strange, but it's interesting that this conversation has really been going on for like over 2,000 years.
Yeah, I mean,
think about it. I mean, obviously you don't pull up to church butt naked.
And Rose said something that it relates to that conversation. I mean, like, it's still kind of going on even when she said it. You said that modesty, you know, like you're talking like you're having conflict with what you believe to be modest. So now someone sees that your clothing styles and they think, okay, this is not modest at all, right? Like, I mean, and those are the things that you said you were thinking of and stuff. And so that conversation, so it's like there's no clear-cut line of what modest would be.
I feel like also modesty is also checking your heart. Is your heart clean? Is your heart pure?
I have a question though. Like, what if someone says that I'm wearing this thing that you're talking about, the one that you said you're not a fan of, or did I get that wrong?
No, you're
Right. So what if they wear that and they say, my heart is pure, I'm worshiping God, but like, this is still modesty. I'm not showing too much. Would you consider that as not being modest?
That's a good question.
Yeah, you don't have to answer right now. Just think
Yeah.
about it.
It goes back to the cultural thing.
It does go back to the cultural thing that you're referring to. What you saying? Sorry.
I was just trying to figure out, like, you're saying that the modesty thing, right?
Yeah.
You're saying that the shirt or the shirt with the hole over here was not modest,
Right.
like so.
No, like if someone was to suggest that, hey, you having that is not modest, but like, so is there a clear cut line of what modesty is?
Okay, that's
Or is it
actually
based
what
on-
I think I was gonna ask the same question that you're asking right now,
true.
because I'm like it could be different for everybody.
It could be different
you
for
know,
everybody.
but I just feel like there has to be a general knowledge. I mean, as individuals, we should know, okay,
Where the line
revealing this part may cause someone to sin. So, like,
Right.
I mean, especially as a believer.
Yeah.
Okay, if we're talking about believers when we're addressing, or we're even men and women as well.
Yeah.
Like when you put something on, okay, if it's me doing this, going to cause this person to sin, then I guess you
Like what
do
you were
it.
saying about Paul and the meat.
Exactly.
What?
For me, I just feel like I'm not thinking of it that way. I'm just thinking of it as just being
Okay.
is it the word being obedience to God, or
Okay.
just like respecting God. I think that's how I'm looking at it. I'm
That's
not
how you're
looking
looking
at it as in
Yeah.
Like they said, clear
you're,
line kind of.
you're making somebody sin or fall.
Okay.
I'm just simply looking at it as I just want to honor God in that way, give Him that respect.
Got you.
Yeah.
Got you. I'm sorry. Like I'm not. When you said this up, so I agree with you 100%. It was what he was talking about too that was fun to be like. It seems like modesty is relative to depending on who it is, because he was talking about how in some cultures they even cover their shoulders, and let's say you make some flash that you have some designs that look really good. You believe it's modest. You in your heart of hearts, like God, like this is good and stuff. Do you care if someone on the other end is like saying, hey, that does not represent how a Christian woman is supposed to be dressed like?
So yes, in the beginning I was thinking about that,
Yeah.
but as time went on, it shouldn't matter.
It shouldn't matter.
Yeah.
What he cares more as much trumps everything.
It's about what God sees on the inside.
I agree.
It's never even about the clothing to begin with. You know?
Yeah.
So,
I have a very controversial question to ask. Right?
But before you ask that, I was gonna add, I feel like fashion especially is like, you're never gonna get everybody to like your clothing, ever. Like there's always gonna be somebody that's gonna be like, oh, it's too revealing, or somebody's gonna be like, oh, that's not confident or whatever. So I think
I agree.
for whatever God put on your heart,
Yeah.
that's what you do. You know
I
what I mean?
agree.
You're never gonna get everyone
100%.
satisfied.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I hope that as those challenges come, you keep on, enforcing your and fighting it against it. Good luck in that challenge.
Yeah, and find your market and your niche, and then like build, like just make it for those
Yeah.
people, So
And then that is the thing, being able to find your niche, like once you find it, and they'll always write for you. So I was about to say right now, but like they'll always be there for you. So as long as you keep on producing the same, not same thing, but being true to the values that you just propose, being elegant, classy, and then what's the last one? Flyer. I was about to say fashionable, but it's a good thing. It's still the same thing, man. But I have one question to ask, right? Like, I was thinking about this one time when we were having a conversation about Christian women dressing and stuff. What if you could dress as fly as you want, right? But before you enter the church door, you put on a robe, and then we all go in and worship wearing robes. And then you come out and then you can remove it and then take your pictures. That way, we are all focusing on worshiping God. Because it feels like, to me, some people come into church out of wearing clothes to be competitive. Like remember how they used to make they were talking about some women having the big hats and then all these things decorating on it. That's just taking the attention away from what the preacher is talking about. You just came in here dressed fashionable, so I'm saying that what if we could dress as fly as we want, as elegant and classy, but before you enter, you cross the threshold of the door, you put on a robe, you worship, you come out to take it off. How you feel about that idea?
You know what's crazy? Like,
What?
I feel like in my grandparents' generation, they were really, really, really big on impressing people to come in and dress. Like, my grandma was always wearing the hats, and then like, you know, whenever I had to go to church, I had to wear the button-up suits and all that stuff. But now, you know, it's like we just wear casual. I feel like we just wear casual stuff. People don't care anymore.
We don't care.
And I think it's interesting how some people, like, the older generation will be like, you have to dress modestly, but they're really not dressing modestly. They're trying to impress everybody.
They're trying to impress
Whereas
everybody.
people now, they're not dressing as flashy, but they're dressing more casual. But some people see that as like, you're not respecting God because you're not coming to church with your best clothing, which is stupid. It's a weird conundrum. It's a very weird conundrum, but they see it as see it very differently. But to your point, there is a verse in the Bible, I think, where Paul talks about, like, you know, you dishonor the poor man when you know, like, y'all got the poor man sitting on the floor at the congregation, and you got this rich dude pulling up with all his chains and his gold jewelry, and you're giving him the special seat. How you think the poor man's gonna feel? So sure, I mean, honestly, like, if people had to do that, maybe not, I don't know.
But you
But
mess with that idea, don't you?
I don't want to put co-sign it just yet. What I'm saying is that it's got some merit. If you're going off the Bible, it's got some merit to it. That's what I'm saying.
I feel you. How
It
do you
does.
feel about the point you made and what I talked about?
Yeah, that's not what I was gonna quite talk about.
Mhm.
But I was just, as you were talking, it just took me back to, I don't know exactly where the verse, but it talks about how you shouldn't wear flashy things.
Yeah.
It does?
It does.
It does talk about that?
Yeah, it does. It tells women not to like wear like jewelry and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
It says
And
don't wear flashy
So the
things.
Yeah.
people were right. I'm sure.
The what
But
people?
yeah, I was just
Is this group of congregation that don't believe in wearing makeup or jewelry, man?
Yeah.
Hallelujah. Yeah. Wait, but so you agree with the term, like, not to wear flashy things to church?
no, I don't.
You don't agree?
Like,
No, like, I mean, you said there was a verse.
no, I was as you were talking. That's what like dropped in my
So
mind.
what
that
do you
verse.
think of? What do you think of that whole thing that we're talking about?
I don't know. Come back to me.
Come back to you. I feel. How about you, bro?
I don't know how I feel about it, because I'm like, when you, as believers, when you go to church,
Yeah.
what are we doing at church? Like,
To
we come to
worship
church
God.
to worship, to fellowship together. The reason why we go, because we can worship God wherever we are, right?
Yeah.
In our house,
Yeah.
and we come to church because we are doing it as a group, and then the Bible encourages us to fellowship together as a group.
Yeah.
Right? So I agree in the sense that if we come to church and we end up focusing on what people are wearing,
Yeah.
we're kind of distracted from the goal of coming to church to fellowship together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right? And then again, I also feel like your relationship with God, when you come to church, whatever you're doing with God, is also between you and God. Like, you know, so then, like, what does it matter what someone else is wearing?
Yeah.
And I guess that also depends on the person and how mature they are in their walk with God, and if they're able to block out what someone else is wearing or what someone else is doing, to focus on that. I'm coming here to talk to God, no matter how flashy I'm looking, no matter how flashy he's looking.
Right.
What I'm here for is to have that encounter with God. So I feel like it's a personal thing, and it's just individual basis.
Yeah, it's not about the clothes.
Mhm.
It's not about that at all. It's
And-
all
and-
about God.
Not to cut you off, I feel like even if you say that, okay, when we come to church, you can wear whatever flashy stuff that you want, but when it's time to go inside
You
to
wear the
pray,
robe.
you put a robe on. Like, I feel like it's not making a difference really,
Why not?
because still people are gonna be like, okay, let me find my flashy clothes. After I come out, I have to show up my clothes. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're still gonna show it up anyway.
True,
So,
I
like,
agree with you.
Or
Yeah.
let
Okay.
me find the best white coat to
Oh
look
yeah.
good.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Whatever.
You're right.
So-
You're right. You're right.
Like I said, it just depends on you. You just have to be mature enough to be like, okay, when I come to church, is what I'm doing here with God, what I'm
Yeah.
focusing on praying, what I'm worshiping, like just making sure that you're not distracted by what other people are doing.
I do like your brand. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna add to that. I was just gonna say, at this church, I feel like once you're mature enough, like I feel like when I go to church, I'll see somebody with a suit, and I'm like, oh, it's a nice suit, you know, cool. But I still talk to him like anyone else.
Exactly.
And I'll see somebody with like baggy clothes, like they're dressing from a Soulja Boy music video from 2006, and I'm like, oh, you know, that's different, but you know, that's him. You know what I mean? Like, he's still
someone
a
dressed as
homie.
Soulja Boy to church.
Some people do. People dress like anything at church, but I feel like when you go to church, you shouldn't care. Like, I mean, not obviously someone pulls up like in a loincloth. I'm gonna be like, yo, bro, you need to chill out a little bit.
Yeah.
You should probably go home and like,
Yeah.
you know, get yourself, you know, put some pants on at least. Put on some shorts.
But aren't you just going against what you just said?
No, because
Go ahead,
that's
go ahead.
no, that's
I don't want
different
us to take the
because
conversation away from. But go, this is
No,
a very
'cause-
interesting conversation that I would like us to have. But I don't want it to shadow your.
No, right. But we're just saying all this
You're
stuff
right,
to
you're
say to like tie it all together.
Yeah.
I'm saying all that stuff to say that, you know, whatever your brand is, whatever it is that God put on your heart, you will have a market for it. And I honestly don't even think like saying that it's godly, like it shouldn't even like that, like God, I found that God will meet people where they are, and he will like take whatever you have there and build on it. You know what I mean? Yeah. So whether or not you decide to make it godly or come with that decision or brand name, whatever, you know, God can still work through that. You know, God's worked through murderers. You know, he's worked through rapists. He's worked through all kinds of people. Unfortunately,
Who was a rapist?
I mean, I feel like King David low key was a. Low key, but we're not gonna get into that.
Yeah,
we're not gonna get into that.
Don't do my voice.
King David was foul. That was a foul man, but God still.
He was foul.
I'm not condoning.
Consensual.
It was
Doesn't say it was consensual. He was a king.
I think because she was a king, she was probably like.
Yes, she was.
Are we Me Tooing David?
No, I'm not. That's what I'm saying.
Okay,
Don't do my
no.
boy David. Like, he's actually one of my favorites.
I'm pretty sure David walked up to her and said,
Not Daniel, the guy in the Bible is not your favorite
Nah,
guy.
Daniel's my second favorite.
No, but I'm just saying. I'm not saying that. Maybe that's a poor comparison. But what I'm saying is that God can meet you wherever you are in life. He will meet you there, and he will build on that. So I think whatever your brand is, like, it's just really build on that and keep going forward.
I really like your brand idea, and I like the message behind it. Because how the Christian women should dress, has been a conversation, and it has been one of those underneath conversations kind of thing. You know, people don't really say much about it, but when they see that person walk into the church, they are always whispering something about the person. And I hope that we'll be able to, Charlie. And also, like, you know, honestly, not gonna lie, like, clothing kind of makes, you know, it makes someone come to you to like, yo, like, you look, you know, guy, you look good, and then let's talk about it. Something like that. You know, it's sort of like how a flower looks, right? Flower looks pretty, and then that's how bees comes to it. Exactly. And so, I'm not saying necessarily that you need to be dressing anyhow to get a guy, but like, you know, sometimes, you know, dressing really good, you know, that looks modest and stuff, can attract the right kind of individuals to you. And I do like how that you're providing that opportunity for the young generation that's coming up. And I actually look towards the success of your business.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah. You got any last remarks, brother?
I'm glad that you're doing it. I'm glad that you're not letting the doubts that you had about what people may think about it stop you, and you're just pushing for it, and just keep on going, and we're here to support.
Yeah,
and
always, man. Do you want to talk about your premiering?
I want to say something.
Oh yeah.
How expensive?
Huh?
How expensive is it?
Yo, no question much. You're asking the real questions, man. How expensive is it? I'm messing with you. It's actually a good idea to ask about how expensive it is.
I feel like business, you have to be just smart with everything. So what I did was I didn't invest too much in my inventory. So I didn't spend too much. So I would say roughly about 8,000 maybe.
That's how much you spent.
Yeah. Well, for inventory.
So like for how many? If you don't mind.
So I have 16 like items. I mean, how do I? Not items. Not items.
Say
not
16
items.
for
16
10,000.
styles.
16
Oh,
styles.
okay.
16 different styles.
So you said you have 16 styles
Yeah, 16 different styles.
in Akos.Place.
In Akos.Place, yes. Oh my gosh.
It's all good now.
But yeah.
Yeah, 16 styles in Akos.Place. What's the average amount of money that's normally spent for inventory if you
For an individual wants to get clothing, like
He's looking for a price he can
Like,
get.
let's compare to like Zara, compare
Oh,
to
you're
us.
talking about my pricing.
Yeah.
My like for one
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
I was compared to Zara.
Hey.
Wait, how expensive is Zara?
Uh-huh.
Hmm? You make more money. Why are you doing this?
Money for what?
Is Zara expensive?
Zara's alright.
That's
It's like
expensive.
it's like here. It's not. It depends.
I mean, I feel like you kind of when you're starting a bit, when you like
You have to
selling,
start high.
yeah, you kind of have to. You
Yeah.
kind of have
I mean,
to.
Zara's expensive, but it's doable.
Yeah. As
Why
long
do
as it's not
why do
actually
you have to start high when you're starting a new business? I thought you have to do like
I wanna make something
because
you want to make something out of it.
Yeah, because you have to pay for everything yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So you do have to make up for that. You know, all the.
So then, as
manufacturing
time
stuff.
goes on, if you want to discount it, you just discount it.
Oh, I
Yeah.
see. But as from in the beginning stages, you have to hit a certain price so you can get a good back pay so that you
Get
can
your money
get
back.
more
Yeah, if you're
Yeah.
losing money.
interesting. Like, do you go by the percentage that you plan on getting back? Always on.
Oh, okay. It was just like making static music.
Oh, really?
So just like.
It won't explode, don't worry. You can say, yeah, if it explodes, it will be.
It's fine.
Yeah, alright. Don't worry, it won't explode.
I feel like the way she's doing it is smart too. Like I feel like a lot of people, when they start a business, and because my cousin, I've shared this with him before. He became a millionaire, and he said like he was trying to do this whole thing with businesses where he was trying to like start his own and then build up. But he said he realized that's not how you should do it. He said like take something that's already there and then build off of that. Because starting from the bottom and then building it up, it takes a lot more work when there's like a lot of framework out there already set up for you. And so like in your case where you're getting certain clothing lines from, I think you said from like the West Coast or
Yeah, wholesalers.
yeah, exactly, wholesalers, and then just like being the vendor to sell those, you know. Like if you think about it, that's really what like Target and all these other places do. They're not not making the clothing lines. Sure, there are certain clothing lines like Levi and stuff
Like
like
they're
that.
the middleman.
But yeah, they're just the middleman, exactly.
The cool thing is
So-
I can brand it as mine.
Exactly.
That's the cool thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And then if she gets big
Without
enough,
any problems
No.
from.
yeah.
How does that happen? I'm not
Because you bought
knowledgeable
from
about
them,
it.
so
Wait,
Yeah.
you bought like a certain amount. It's not like you're buying one item. You bought like a certain amount.
And I'm guessing these are not like known designers like
Yeah.
that everybody knows that okay, this is like I don't know.
So you can't take like Gucci and then
Yeah.
put your brand on there.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's probably like a up and coming designer.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's very interesting. I did not know that. I thought if you were to do these kinds of things, you have to send them back a certain percentage. You don't have to, and so this all goes back to you.
Yeah.
Because she already
She
paid for
already
it.
paid exactly. She already paid for
She
it.
already paid for
It's
it.
not like
okay.
it's not like she got them for free and stole it, and then literally just like said this is mine, and literally has like the Nike logo on the back or something like that. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's.
No, I
that's
feel you.
different. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I did not know that.
Yeah.
Hey, you learn something new every day, man. hey, thank you for enlightening me on that portion of that. But is there anything that you would like to leave? What advice would you give to someone that wants to start a business? I think we already answered
Yeah,
this question.
I
We did.
The last thing I actually wrote this down is don't limit God, don't limit yourself, and don't give up on the dream that God gave you.
Amen.
That's what I would put.
Amen.
God bless her.
God bless. Akos.Place.
Akos.Place.
Yes.
Oh, you said you're doing a premiere.
Yes.
When are you doing it?
So the whole website drop would be what is it? October 15th. Sorry guys.
October 15th.
But I have
Yeah.
things for close
3
friends.
weeks.
I can't share that date because that's private.
Oh, understood.
Official.
Yeah.
So Akos.Place, October 15th,
Yes.
and that's is a premiering. I don't know if I'm using the right words.
It's
That's
the launch.
the
Just say
the
launch.
launch of the website.
Launch of the website.
Launch of the website. See, I don't know these
Well, for
fashion.
when
labels.
easy. When
I don't. I mean, the
Himself also
fashion.
need
It's not your calling.
I don't know the fashion lingo's.
But that's for business though.
I'm not a business.
Everybody.
I'm not a businessman. Don't do this. Do not do this to me.
Pipettes.
Hey, if you're
I like how Akos' confidence came at the end, and she's coming for you back.
why did
Everybody
what did
gotta,
I do?
everybody gotta come for you. If you
Wow,
notice,
what did
every
I
guest comes for you at least
What have I
once.
done
It's
to any
so
of you?
hilarious.
What have I done to any of you?
It's just you being you, bro. You just showing you before, bro.
This has been the African Wise Foods podcast. Do you have any last remarks to leave?
Don't forget to share, subscribe, like, leave a comment, share with your family, share with your friends. If you haven't watched the last episode, go and watch it or listen.
Exactly. To help this movement grow. Thank you so much for joining us.
Before he says that, make sure you go follow Akos.Place on Instagram too as well.
Akos.Place.
On IG, you heard?
Yes.
You heard?
Is it at Akos.Place or like just
Yes, it's at Akos.Place.
for
No
those who don't know
underscore,
the text and stuff. Yeah, that's what I mean.
Oh, let me find it.
Like you gotta help this movement.
Some people don't know how to
next.
spell Akos.
Why are you doing this?
I just
This is true.
It's AKOS. Right?
Hold on.
AKOS.
AKOS.
Please.
Y'all see that?
PLAC.
Y'all see that? Yeah.
God.
Please
See, they
use
got
the
it.
no, not that camera.
Oh, that's OC. Hold on. It's right here.
Why use
Okay.
the Android.
Akos.Place.
Why use the Android?
Not the Android.
Is that right? Thank you so much for joining the African Wise Food Podcast. This is King D, and we out.
Yeah.
And I'm top 5.
Caleb.
Don't worry.
Let it go.
I'm top 5.
Let it go.
Cut that part. Thank you so much.
I think I'm top 5. I don't care what.